Now we've got a certified girl boss in the house. She's the leading woman behind a boutique airline that connects travelers to some of the country's sought-after destinations. Joining us live in the studio is Ryna B. Garcia, the CEO of Sunlight Air. Ryna, good morning. It's a beautiful day.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor having you. You know, we're so excited. Aviation is one of the toughest industry to crack, especially you as a woman. I can only imagine what challenges you went through. So let's talk about what inspired you first and foremost to start Sunlight Air.
Well, Sunlight Air in the beginning was mainly to cater to underserved destinations, which is why when we launched on December 25, 2020, our first destination was Coron. Mainly because back then we didn't have as much or as many flights as we do today. And so once we were able to do that, we slowly transitioned to serving popular island destinations as well.
So you mentioned December 2020, you launched this airline, and that was the time of the pandemic.
Yes.
Right? So what were the challenges that you and your team had to face, launching during that time where there was COVID? What were the challenges, and how did you navigate your way through all these challenges?
Well, I think the biggest would be, as we all know, we were experiencing different types of travel restrictions back then. We had ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, and all sorts, right? And so Sunlight Air had to keep pivoting as well. But one thing that we kept in mind was we had to be adaptive. And so that was when we launched a full travel experience. Back then we called it a travel bubble package, wherein everybody could take off from a private hangar in Manila and land in Coron with the private lounge in Coron as well. That booking consists of the airline, the hotel, and so we're able to lessen the touch points as much as possible.
Okay.
You know, what I love about that is that you just reignited the trauma of GCQ and ECQ as soon as you just said it. But what I really find interesting is that looking at your background, looking at the background of the company, is that you never really had airline experience prior to this. In fact, you worked for a legal tech firm in Australia, came back working in hospitality, and all of a sudden here you are working on an airline. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how that shift happened to you. And you use this lack of knowledge of the aviation industry as a strength in previous interviews. So how did that all come about when you started in this industry?
Well, what I'd like to highlight was that my experience in hospitality really helped me in terms of being a customer-centric airline. So that 2 to 3 year experience prepared me for this role today. But really, the airline industry came on my lap in a way, it was a need. There was a need for somebody to oversee everything from what the branding of the company would be, what the vision would be, operations, human resources, and whatnot. And it just so happened that the role was given, or the role was needed at that time, and so there was a need for somebody to step up.
What I like about it is that we always talk about how you are a 30-year-old CEO, but when you started, you were 24, 25? When it comes to this. And it's insane to me that at 24 and 25 I was fresh out of college. I don't know what I was doing at 24, 25.
Same. I don't know what we were doing. Definitely not planning a business.
Exactly. But then I also realized that you mentioned all of these touch points and you felt like that someone had to watch over all of it. I also think about all the permits required to run an aviation company. And how did you evolve from siguro becoming more of a micromanager to being able to be comfortable in delegating?
I feel that the more you know already about the industry, the more you're able to trust the leaders, the co-leaders that you work with. And I've always had a good team with me that were very experienced in the industry. It's just that today, because I trust the people I've been working with, there are some of us who've been with me from the very beginning. Some of them having worked with Sunlight Air almost nearly 6 years.
Yeah.
So with that, I've slowly let go of the micro details of planning
Slowly?
the business. Yes, very slowly. But instead today, I think I become more of the visionary. I allow my team to brainstorm together with me, of course.
Okay.
But I am able to set the directions of where the company should be in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
No, Ryna, I'm just so amazed by you. Just like what I said earlier, in such a male-dominated industry. And when you started, Pablo mentioned you were around 24. So
Yeah.
how did you penetrate the industry as a woman who was so young? I feel like that's very unheard of. And what challenges did you have, and how did you address those challenges?
Well, first, thank you. Second, well, this isn't really a challenge as a woman, right? Whether you're a man or a woman at that age, it's just difficult to start or even, as Paolo was saying, with the permits and all, that's all difficult. But
I really feel that it's not just getting started, it's knowing where to start
Yes.
as well that made it very difficult at the beginning.
yes, but how we started was we really thought with the team what pain points the industry was still dealing with.
Yeah.
And that is why from the very beginning, despite serving underserved destinations, we really focused on offering a boutique airline service and customer experience, because we think from our personal travel experiences as well, that's the one thing that the Philippines is still missing.
I love that. You've mentioned experience over and over again and how important that is when people book with Sunlight and when people fly it. Just how much of the love and care for this particular service comes with the love and care for the experience of the customers that you have.
Yeah. Well, because like I said earlier, my hospitality experience really plays a big role into what Sunlight Air is today. So from the very beginning, as a boutique airline, we focus on experience, are very customer-centric. We empathize with the travel experiences in every customer touch point that our passengers go through.
You know, and I was looking through her IG, her social media, because we stalk you.
Not us. I think it's just Paulo.
No, that's why we do research. But Anne, because what I love about her is the fact that there's a bit of work-life balance that I hate that term. I hate that term, but she has it.
But yeah. I mean, women are known to be multitaskers, right?
Yes.
And I am sure that you being a young CEO and balancing that with your personal life as well, how do you manage that term that we hate, work-life balance? What are maybe like your tips, your tricks, your strategies? Yeah, and what are the hobbies that you do just to relax and unwind and everything?
I mean, just as how I've slowly evolved from a micromanager to a collaborative and a visionary leader today, I've also slowly learned in the process to live a more balanced lifestyle.
Okay.
Of course, in the beginning, when Sunlight Air had its many growing pains, I thought that working was the way to go. But then I realized that doing that is not sustainable, and I'm actually not doing any good for the team or for the business.
Okay.
It leads to, this is a common word that you guys might hate also, but it leads to burnout. Whether we admit it or not. And at the end of the day, it's really not sustainable for the team. As much as possible, I'd like to be present for the team long term. And so yes, I try to live a very balanced lifestyle. Some of the things that I enjoy doing are like diving on weekends or really just doing nothing.
That's so good.
That's the best
That's
thing.
the best. That's normally
Doing
what we do on the weekend.
Yes.
We're on do not disturb mode.
Yes, stay at home, watch movies.
I love that because I love the term that you mentioned, burnout. Funnily enough, we don't hate it.
Oh, thank God.
We live it. We live it.
Right.
And we're trying to get that work-life balance. But, you know, speaking of work-life balance, you're also such a fashionista. You're a fashion icon. When we stalked your IG, like Paolo said,
I thought you don't.
I didn't stalk. I took a peek. So, the unstalking. I saw all the amazing outfits you're wearing, and I think that also helped, you know, Sunlight Air. I've ridden Sunlight Air, guys, and I'm obsessed, and especially at your uniforms. So I think, you know, having a woman CEO really helped that, and especially you as a fashionista.
Yeah.
You also own your own fashion brand.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I launched Every Farm last December, but that was out of my passion because I personally love suits. I wear it a lot for work, and I just want to share that empowerment with suits with more women.
Okay.
No, and I love what you're wearing, by the way.
Yes.
It's so interesting that you know, you were talking about the fashion a while ago.
Look at the LED screen. Look how adorable. When I think of Sunlight Air, I think of their uniform. It's just your quintessential Filipino
Could we get
woman
Mo
or man.
And the
a bit of their
bags,
uniforms?
too.
Just
I
because
will wear
I
it
think
here.
Mo would love it. But
I love them.
what I love about it is that you turn your passion to a business. You've turned a necessity, a need that you felt in the industry into a business, and I can only imagine your impact to other women. I mean, a lot of people like, how could you do it at such a young age, and you know, how could you shift into the industry you had no idea about? When you talk to women who look to you for inspiration, what do you normally say?
I mean, there's always that hesitation as a woman, just because of the standards that are set out for us, or the limits, or the invisible limits that people or society give women. But I always just say that when you're passionate about something, or when there's a business that you want to start, just start somewhere.
Right.
Whether that's learning it from ground up, that's fine. You want to start it right away and make mistakes, that's okay too. Because eventually you'll get there. You learn the ropes. Things will fall into place perfectly.
You know, like what Monique mentioned, you are a female leader in a male-dominated industry. In your opinion, what do you think the aviation industry, what are the steps that the aviation industry can take, or any industry for that matter, to encourage women to pursue leadership roles?
I think for male-dominated industries in general, not so much just for the aviation industry, it would just be to remove the traditional limits that are set out on roles. So there are certain roles that are traditionally male-dominated. At Sunlight Air, we remove all that. So we can have female pilots, female mechanics. I was telling the team earlier that while I was checking our current manpower roster, we actually have 38% women already amongst the team. So I think it would be that. There's no necessary program or activity that you need to do, but to just keep all roles equal, fair, open, and remove the traditional beliefs of for certain roles it has to be a certain gender.
Now, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for Sunlight Air moving forward, and what can we expect?
Well, for Sunlight Air, I envision it to be adaptive still, innovative, whether that be digitally or in terms of service. We also envision Sunlight Air to become a top regional airline in the Philippines, helping the tourism industry connect international and domestic travelers to more islands in the Philippines.
I'm so excited for all of that, and we're so excited to fly Sunlight Air next time.
Yes, and you know, guys, not only are their outfits cute, let me just mention their banana chips are amazing. They're in-flight snacks. So if you haven't flown Sunlight Air, I encourage you to fly Sunlight Air. Ryna, thank you for being such an inspiration and for being here. I'm such a fan.
Thank you so much, Monique. Thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ryna B. Garcia, the CEO of Sunlight Air.